Hey, what's up everybody? Adam Neff here, and I am back with another one of those game reviews. So sit back, kick your feet up, and grab a drink. And let me take you through a game which has very quickly become another one of my all-time favorites. And let me tell you guys, I am pumped about this one. Yeah, I've been pumped about all of them, but this game is absolutely incredible. And it may actually surprise you guys why I think it's so incredible. So let's just jump right on in. The game I'm talking about right now is the absolutely epic, and when I say epic, I really mean epic, Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I could start this review out by telling you guys how this game does something that no other games were doing at the time. I could tell you guys that this game is literally one of the reasons I bought my PS4 in the first place. I could even tell you guys that this game may have single-handedly changed the gaming industry for the better. I could tell you so many things, but the one thing that I will tell you for sure is that if you're a lover of video games, then you will absolutely love this one. Now, when I say if you're a lover of video games, I don't mean that if you like the idea of video games or all the subgenres that have spun off from them, then you're going to love this one. No. I mean, if you are truly a lover of video games and what they are and how they've changed so many of our lives every day, then you will absolutely love this one. That's what I mean. On a technical level, this game absolutely raised the bar. Guerrilla Games did so many things right with the Decima engine that helped them break through to a whole new kind of video game. Plain and simple, this game will just straight up suck you in. Now, personally, I can't really say anything too bad about any AAA game engine out right now. They all seem to have a pretty good handle on things. But what Guerrilla Games was able to accomplish on this game with the epic Decima engine was, well, just frickin' incredible. Everything from the gorgeous realistic lighting to the way all the foliage seems to move around as if it were alive. It truly feels like you're in a place with a real atmosphere, which makes everything else feel real. Now, the real shortcoming of this game for me was probably the conversational cutscenes. The characters' animations are all pretty clunky and somewhat unnatural. Now, pretty much every role-playing game is like this, so it's not all that surprising to see. However, this kind of thing can sort of pull you out of a game, causing you to lose that immersion. But don't worry, in this game, it didn't really bother me all that much. I think it was because I was having just way too much fun to even care. I'm not trying to say that the clunky animations aren't a little bit distracting, because, well, they are. But the gameplay is fun enough that you're mostly just trying to get through the conversations so you can get back to the game, so don't get too hung up on them. Now, even though the conversation animations are clunky, the movement animations are absolutely fantastic. When Aloy moves around, you see her hair bouncing or blowing in the wind. Everything seems to have a weight to it. That attention to detail is what takes this game to the next level. Moving on, this brings us to the next part of the review, the story. Now, you'd think that because I had such a blast with the game that the story would be just amazing. Having just come off the literary high I got from the near-perfect game The Last of Us, I was hoping to be treated to something close to the same level of storytelling as that. But, unfortunately, I was not. Now, don't get me wrong here. I am by no means at all saying that the story in HZD wasn't good. I'm just saying that it wasn't great. It felt kind of more generic Sci-Fi Channel to me, which can be kind of fun sometimes as well, but I was expecting a little more from it. Okay, let me fill you in here. The premise of the story is that mankind finally creates artificial intelligence. Woohoo! The humans obviously end up losing control of said AI, big surprise, which turns on them, causing the humans to do whatever they can do to survive. Can anybody tell me where they've heard that one before? Terminator! Oh god, it's so dry here right now. Okay, to be fair, the story does develop beyond the simple concept of AI turning on its creators due to self-preservation. It does eventually move beyond that a little bit, but ultimately, that's kind of it. Okay, let's be fair here. HZD doesn't just copy the concept of Terminator outright or anything. They actually managed to come up with something somewhat original. And once again, let me reiterate, I am not saying that this story was in any way bad. It's actually pretty interesting overall, especially as it develops throughout the game. It's creative and interesting enough to keep driving you forward to see what's going to happen next. So, in that sense, they did a pretty good job. So, you play as Aloy, the main character who has the ability to do certain things that pretty much no one else alive knows how to do, such as override some of the machines and use them for her own purposes, like riding them around or setting them against each other to help her in a conflict. Now, the way Aloy was created, and you'll figure all that out later, causes her tribe to cast her out along with a man who will end up raising and protecting her. They live as outcasts, not even being able to talk with anyone from their own tribe. When Aloy is about 10ish years old, she, being a curious child, goes exploring down into what looks like a natural cave. While in this cave, she finds out that the world that came before theirs was far more advanced than anyone ever really knew. At the center of this cave, she finds a skeleton. On the skeleton is where she finds the focus device that allows her to view the world through, well, technology. Basically, this focus is a high-tech computer that shows the wearer things they normally couldn't see, which adds a whole new element of strategizing to the gameplay. Now, even though the story wasn't super original, what saved it for me was the setting. I feel like so many games don't understand this. The setting makes such a huge difference. This game is set in this kind of dystopian future where machines have taken down human civilization and nature has kind of crept back in to reclaim everything. However, humanity has clung on to life and small tribes pop up all over the place. I gotta tell you guys, running around through remnants of old buildings that are half destroyed and overgrown with vegetation, enough that the old steel structures look almost organic, is actually pretty damn awesome. So, after the fall of civilization, the remaining humans revert back to a more primitive time, living in small huts and villages. Now, there are some larger kingdoms, but even those are pretty primitive, kind of like what you might see back in ancient Roman times or something. Of course, all of this is accented with these extremely high-tech machines roaming around the wild, just kind of doing what they do. Later on, you learn that all these machines have a purpose for existing. But because they are all aggressive towards any human that even comes remotely close to them, you kind of get them confused with the machines that actually took down human civilization. But technically, they are actually different machines. The ones you see roaming around are supposed to be there to actually help humans. It takes a minute for the game to get to this part where it explains all this, but eventually it does catch you up, and it's pretty fulfilling. Now, the game is pretty long, so get ready for a pretty lengthy stretch. I didn't even get to all the side quests, and I didn't get to max out all of Aloy's skills, and my game was still around 60 hours long. However, even though it's a pretty long game, you almost don't notice because it's so fun. Now, I say almost because I feel like it could have been a little shorter. Around 50 hours in, I was starting to feel some fatigue, especially after the second false ending I ran into. The story would act like it was about to come to an end, but then it would just ramp up again. This wasn't really a huge problem, because it really was such a fun game. I know you guys will love it. Just make sure you understand that it is not a short play, but it will provide you with a lot of fun for a long time. This game felt so different than some of the other games I've been playing lately. Usually when I'm looking at a game this long, I get a little overwhelmed with the thought of the time investment it's going to take to beat the game. But with this one, it drew me in fast and kept me hooked all the way up until the end. Usually in this situation, it's the story that keeps me hooked, but on this one, it was actually the gameplay that locked me in. It was so fun running around and overriding machines and slowly and stealthily taking out an entire enemy camp solo to reclaim the area from the Eclipse. Even the mechanics on how to level up Aloy is fun. You have a lot of different armor and weapons to buy and level up, which a lot of these games lately have been kind of missing. So I have no doubt you're going to have a blast. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me on this one, but if you liked this video, maybe go back and check out some of my other ones. I've gone through some really great games so far. Also, if you're new here and you like what I'm doing, please feel free to subscribe. I try to get reviews up as quickly as possible, but I personally would rather have quality over quantity. So I do apologize for how long some of these take to get up. Also, once again, if anyone out there has a game you think I should go through and review, let me know in the comments below. As for now, you guys have been absolutely awesome, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!